Hi everyone, Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, joined by Ryan Wood. And today we are previewing the draft, taking a look at some of the prospects that are going to be available to the Packers. And today we're talking about the quarterbacks. Now, Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, under a year ago, signed a contract extension, record-breaking, massive. Is it time for the Packers to even consider a quarterback in this year's draft?
Well, what's interesting about that, Olivia, is that when the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, it was 2005, Brett Favre was 35 years old that spring, turned 36 during that 2005 season, in October of that 2005 season. Aaron Rodgers now is the same age. He's 35 now. He turns 36 in December of this 2019 season. Differences between the two. By 2005, Brett Favre made it known that there's some grousing about potentially retiring early. Aaron Rodgers made it known that he wants to play to 40. But Aaron Rodgers, there are more significant red flags with his medical health right now than there were at this stage in Brett Favre's career. You look at the last two seasons with the fractured tibial plateau and last year, and then the broken collarbone 2 years ago. Injuries have really significantly derailed both of those seasons. So if you ask me, is it 0% chance that they take a quarterback at number 30? That a couple years from now, I think if they have a late first-round pick, that's going to be a glaring neon sign that they could take a quarterback. I wouldn't say 0. I would say it's only a couple numbers higher than that, far less than 10%. The Packers would have to be convinced that whoever they get at that point is for a surefire next 15 years franchise quarterback that could carry that torch when Aaron Rodgers does retire. The good news would be that there'd be 3 or 4 years that you could let him develop and play behind Aaron Rodgers and learn from one of the best to ever do it, much like Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre. So is it too early? I asked the scouting community. One scout told me it's never too early to think about the future of the quarterback position. With that said, it would be a shock, and there's almost no chance. I'm not going to say no chance, but almost no chance that happens.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the depth of this year's quarterbacks class. Last year, 4 quarterbacks went in the top 10. This year, there's a little bit of doubt around when the quarterbacks are going to go. Kyler Murray almost guaranteed will go in the top 10. Everyone else, kind of a crapshoot. Teams are going to be looking for other skill positions, especially with the depth on the defensive side of the ball in this year's draft. So who might be available to the Packers if they're even considering a quarterback?
Well, that's what's interesting. A year ago, there were a big 4, and everyone knew who the big 4 were, and all 4 quarterbacks win the top 10. There's a big 4 this year: Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, Drew Lock, Daniel Jones. But it's not a surefire by any stretch that those guys are going to go in the first half of the first round, all of them. Kyler Murray to Arizona has been widely rumored. You've seen it in a lot of mock drafts. But behind that, it's really murky where the other 3 will go, which is why it's a little interesting. Drew Lock out of Missouri and Daniel Jones out of Duke, they should be long gone before number 30 comes around. But Aaron Rodgers was never supposed to last to 24, and he did. So screwy things can happen in the draft. Every year that's the case. That's why it's worth talking about. But again, the Packers would have to, whether it's Drew Lock, whether it's Daniel Jones, they'd have to be convinced that a massive error happened, like it did in 2005 across the league, to let a guy that is a surefire franchise quarterback get to the end of the first round. It's just extremely unlikely that that'll happen.
All right, everyone. Well, the draft is rapidly approaching. Make sure you are checking out PackersNews.com. We'll have many other previews over on our website over the next week or so. So please check back. Follow us on social media, too. Any updates, we'll have them over there for you as well. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.